Now, complex systems have several characteristics. The number of interacting components is relatively high. There are often long delays in the feedback systems, making it difficult for the system to know how well it is adapting. The goals of the system tend to be long term and deal with several interrelated problems in the environment. A health ministry is a relatively complex system compared to a discussion between a field worker and a villager. Okay, so complex environments have similar characteristics. There are many interrelated systems. Okay, social images may be changing or confused, and it may be difficult to identify future goals which will enable the system to adapt successfully. The principal implication of the level of complexity in planning is the degree of uncertainty that planners face. As the complexity of the system increases, planners can be less certain about what the system can do. The information they get from and through the system comes slowly and is often distorted. As the environment grows more complex, planners are less sure of their information about the environment, especially about the causes of the problems which they seek to solve. At the same time, they are more and more uncertain about the theories and models they use as a basis for their strategy. And as they plan further and further into the future, these uncertainties increase. The levels of complexity and uncertainty which planners face have a great deal to do with the planning approach that they choose. Okay? Planning approaches which emphasize control and accountability are more possible where there is relatively high level of certainty and relatively less complexity. Where uncertainty is high, planning approaches which emphasize continual learning from experience and constant adjustment of goals and strategies are often more appropriate, right? Uncer- Uncertainty is present at some level in all planning, okay? We are talking about a matter of degree. It is possible to plan health worker visits to villages in a controlled way, emphasizing schedules of accomplishment and accountability, even though there are many uncertainties associated with carrying out that plan. It could be the weather, finding people at home, reliability of transportation, etc. Right? However, when planning a national telecommunication system, to help create a national consciousness and social integration in a multi ethnic society, uncertainty increases considerably. Okay, a planning approach that emphasizes learning and constant readjustment is likely to be more effective. Now, let's move on to the next, that is resources. Okay, now the third major variable in planning to plan is resources. Clearly, different levels of resources have different impact on what planners can do. So, two categories of resources may have been distinguished, that is, physical and knowledge resources. Now, physical resources include such obvious elements as money and people. We can also include here technology as a resource and in communication planning. Technological changes are a major factor to be dealt with. Okay, knowledge resources are extremely important. These include not only data about systems and environments, but also the theories and cause effect models available to planners as the basis for developing strategies. Given few physical resources, limited data, and few strong theories for strategy making, planners will tend towards planning approaches that emphasize learning, even though they may use more comprehensive, accountability oriented approaches on the surface. Where resources of both kinds are in good supply, Rational comprehensive planning would seem to be more effective. There are, of course, other factors in the system and task environment which affect the way in which planners plan. The three categories discussed above are among the most important and serve here principally as examples of the kind of analytical information which is useful in evaluating alternative strategies in the second stage of planning to plan. Okay, now the next would be strategy. Okay, so alternative ways to plan, right? In general, a strategy is a way of achieving a goal. Okay, when planning to plan, the goal is to develop a planning subsystem which can guide the system successfully in achieving goals and adapting to the environment. The strategy is a planning approach or a way in which planners organize themselves and their resources. We are also accustomed to thinking of alternative strategies, especially for more complex planning assignments. Alternative strategies give decision makers a range of choices, each with strengths, weaknesses, and costs. In planning to plan, there are several alternative strategies available as initial paradigms or guides to practicing planners. These strategies are known as planning procedure theories or theories of planning. Okay, so developed largely in Western industrialized countries as part of urban planning and development, these theories provide several contrasting ways to go about planning process. Okay, they serve not as ideal models to be carefully followed, but rather as reasonably coherent descriptions of alternative processes from which practicing planners can draw and adapt ideas. So think back again to your vacation planning, right? While you probably made your plans in an organized and rational way, thinking ahead about different ways to accomplish your various relaxation goals, you could have just taken the first bus to see what happened. Right? So these two alternative planning approaches, in fact, correspond in a simple way to two of these theories of planning. So, to further illustrate the range of strategy options available to planners, a number of these theories are briefly reviewed. Okay, so in these reviews, the ideal form of the planning approach under each theory is emphasized. In the real world, of course, the ideal form invariably changes to meet reality. So, by stressing the ideal form of each theory, however, we can see the alternatives that they represent more clearly. So, let's move to rational comprehensive planning. Okay. Now, as Barclay Hudson in 1979 has noted, rational or comprehensive planning is the dominant tradition and the point of departure for most other planning approaches, which represent either modifications or reactions against it. This is the planning approach with which most planners are familiar. It is a linear and logical process which begins with needs assessment and goal setting and proceeds through the development and evaluation of alternative strategies, implementation planning, and evaluation. Though the process is linear in form, it is often implemented in an iterative way, with planners